New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all.
Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. And it is now time for the good news. Just what we need on this beautiful, beautiful day. Well, let's get started with some unique stories. This one here is very interesting. An artist uses cremation ashes to create unique memorial paintings with personal meanings. This is fabulous. An artist using cremation ashes in his paintings to create unique memorial landscapes that grieving families can personalize as a way to remember their loved ones. Gary Harper began painting professionally just 2 years ago and was inspired by the loss of his cousin to respectfully experiment with blending a small amount of ashes into his artwork. He holds consultations with families to learn about the deceased and, any of their favorite memories, focusing on landscapes with a personal connection. The 33-year-old from Liverpool began painting while at college and developed a love for still life and landscapes. It wasn't until he became an occupational therapist assistant in a psychiatric hospital that he saw firsthand the profound effect art can have on people. I held an art therapy session with a patient, and we made so many paintings together. I was guiding her through the process, and I realized how much I enjoyed it. A month later, I picked up the brush and started painting for myself. The piece was abstract sunflowers, and the feedback I got was overwhelming. While painting in his free time in December 2024, his cousin Donna passed away from cancer. It was so close to Christmas, and it was really emotional. A year later, he was painting some seascapes when the thought crossed his mind that he could add some ashes. In November 2025, Gary painted his first Ashes to Art commission, aiming to provide a personalized memorial in acrylic paint for the bereaved. It was lovely. The family trusted me. It's a respectful process. I do a consultation with the loved one, learning everything about the person and what they enjoyed. Isn't that beautiful? It's such a sweet thing to be able to offer that to people. I just love that idea. All right, moving right along. So here we are. Childbirths and marriages are up and divorces are down in the world's least fertile country. Yes. At 0.77 children per woman in 2025, South Korea was the world's least fertile country, perhaps heralding a reversal of fortune, though childbirths have grown at the fastest pace in 18 years on the peninsula, with a 6.2% increase totaling 233,708 babies between January and November. A number of divorces, meanwhile, went down 9.8% to 6,890 by November. It's a big problem the world over. Receives virtually no attention compared to other existential issues and demonstrates cross-cultural spread. Most native populations aren't having enough babies. No region is more greatly affected by this phenomena than East Asia, where Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and China make up 5 of the 10 least fertile countries on Earth. Hopefully, this sharp increase in South Korea can be sustained. In November alone, the Ministry of Statistics reported 20,710 babies were born, the highest for the month since 2019, and up 3.1% from 20,083 a year earlier. 2025's mini baby boom pushed the fertility rate to 0.79. It's believed that economic assistance for childcare has helped incentivize couples desiring children, but who are wary of the economic burden of the high-cost country. So, a little bit of good news, fewer divorces, more marriages. That's a good thing. And now we're going to go to a little commercial break, and we'll be back to talk about 10 powerful inventions. So don't go away. We're going to be back in just a minute. Well, 10 powerful inventions where helping others came before profit. Yes, it does happen. So, some of the world's most important inventions didn't become household names because their creators sought wealth. They did it because they chose to help others first. From life saving medicine to safety technology, these innovators shared their breakthroughs with the world, often at great personal or financial sacrifice. So when Volvo invented the three-point seat buckle in 1959, they made the patent free for all competitors to use in order to save lives, pardon me, because it had more value as a life-saving tool than something to profit from. Way to go, Volvo. Um, Benjamin Franklin, sharing ideas freely. Founding father Benjamin Franklin invented or improved many devices, including bifocals, the lightning rod, and the Franklin stove, but he never patented any of his inventions, believing that ideas should be shared for the benefit of all rather than hoarded for profit. Insulin, a cure offered to the world. In 1921, doctors Frederick Banting, Charles Best, and James Collip isolated insulin, a life-saving treatment for diabetes. Rather than hold exclusive rights, they famously sold the patent to the University of Toronto for just $1 each, so the discovery could be developed and distributed more freely. Jonas Salk and the polio vaccine. When Jonas Salk developed the first effective polio vaccine in the 50s, he chose not to patent it. Asked who owned the patent, Salk responded, well, the people, I would say. There is no patent. Could you patent the sun? Stance helped the vaccine be widely adopted around the world. Alexander Fleming and penicillin, discovered in 1928. Willem Röntgen and X-rays in 1895. Monoclonal antibodies, a foundation for countless treatments. Scientists Cesar Milstein and George Kohler developed the technique to produce monoclonal antibodies in the 1970s. And their original work was not patented, enabling researchers around the world to build on it and develop thousands of life-saving diagnostic and therapeutic tools. J.M. Barrie and Peter Pan. He gifted the copyright of Peter Pan to the Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children in London. The hospital still benefits from the rights, and while precise financial figures aren't public, the decision has supported pediatric care for decades. A miner's safety lamp by Sir Humphrey Davy, and the World Wide Web, made open for everyone. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1989. Rather than patenting it or charging royalties, he made the core technologies freely available with no patents and no fees so that anyone could adopt and build on them. So why do these stories matter? In a world where innovation is often tightly controlled for profit, these inventors remind us of a different legacy, one where the value of an idea is measured by the lives it touches. Their choices help spread tools, medicine, and safety advancements far beyond what would have been possible through standard commercialization alone. Bravo to all 10. Brilliant work. Brilliant, brilliant work. All right. So, anybody watch the Super Bowl on Sunday? Well, a couple had invited Bad Bunny to their wedding, and instead he invited them to get married during his Super Bowl halftime show. They're known for big surprises, but this year's performance by Bad Bunny delivered a moment no one saw coming, a real wedding. According to reports from ESPN, People, and other outlets, a couple featured in the Super Bowl halftime show was legally married right there on stage. The pair had originally invited Bad Bunny to attend their wedding, but the global superstar had an even bigger idea. Instead of simply showing up, he invited them to his halftime performance and to say, I do, in front of millions of viewers. Well, that's one way to get married. Okay, moving right along, we got a little puppy story. A firefighter who rescued a litter of puppies from a house fire has now given one of them a second chance, reuniting him with his brother in a heartwarming full circle moment. When firefighters in Pickens County, Georgia, rushed into a burning home last March, they weren't only battling flames, they were racing to save lives. Inside the house, crews discovered a heartbreaking but powerful scene: a litter of newborn puppies protected by their mother, who had shielded them from the fire. She shielded the babies. She lost her life protecting them. Firefighters were able to rescue the puppies, carefully carrying them out and passing them through the window to safety. Despite efforts to revive her, the mother dog did not survive. Pickens County Fire Lieutenant John Isaac Hillaway recalled the rescue. Me and my crew went in. They told us what room they were in, and I was able to find them because of their mother. I just started picking up every puppy that I could, radioed to the chief that I found them, and then started passing them out the window. The surviving puppies were taken in by two rescues, Pup and Cat Company and Bosley's Place, where they were cared for and eventually adopted into loving homes. All but one. A puppy named Creed was still waiting after his first adoption fell through. Siegel happened to spot him while scrolling online. Just the other day, I was on social media and saw a post on their site that showed a dog that looked very familiar to me, she said. It said he needed a foster and they couldn't find one. She contacted the other rescue to confirm her hunch. I reached out to Patricia over at Pup and Cat Company. I said, "Is this my stepson?" Creed's adoption hadn't worked out, but not because of anything he had done. She told me that his first adoption didn't work out, not because of him. He's an angel and super sweet. That's when she thought of Lieutenant Holloway, who had already adopted one of the puppies from the fire, now named Chief Lou. I reached out to tell him what was happening, and he was like, "Oh, no, let's get the boys together and see if they get along. And if they do, we'll foster him." Well, to a lot of people, their families, their animals are families, and it's cool to be able to save anybody. So it was neat saving a whole litter of pups. Holloway admitted the moment was emotional. From the picture that I saw of Creed yesterday, he looked pretty sad, and now he looks really happy. Lou's loving it. They both seem happy, and that makes me happy. Oh, I love doggy stories. They're just so sweet. All right, well, here's another doggy story. This man lost everything and had to give his dog up. For months, a dog named Dream waited for the one person who meant everything to her. Her person. Look at that picture. Philip had been by Dream's side since she was just 6 weeks old. Now 6 years old, Dream had spent her entire life with him. It had always been the two of them. But life took a difficult turn when Philip lost his job and soon after his home. Facing an impossible situation and no longer able to afford food for his beloved dog, Philip made a heartbreaking decision, not to abandon Dream, but to protect her. With tears in his eyes, he brought her to the DeKalb County Lifeline and asked if they could keep her safe until he was able to get back on his feet. Staff and volunteers could see how strong the bond was between them, and they knew this wasn't a man giving up his dog. It was a man doing everything he could to hold on. That's when the woman at Rescue Me ATL stepped in. They shared Philip and Dream's story, hoping the community might rally behind them, and Atlanta did just that. Within hours, more than $8,000 was raised to help Philip secure housing and find work, making it possible for him to reunite with Dream. And now he's training to become a firefighter and is set to begin orientation at the end of the month. So Philip says he still can't stop crying, and he thinks about how many strangers showed up to help him and his best friend. Oh, that's an emotional one. Oh, I do love those dogs. Okay, moving on to the slopes. I mean, it is the Olympics right now, so watching downhill skiing and stuff is kind of part of what we're doing. So, wearable airbag vest will help protect downhill skiers from extreme speeds at the Olympics in Italy. Uh, As the Olympics roar into life in northern Italy, athletes will be sporting state of the art airbag vests that inflate during crashes, protecting speed skiers from the worst injuries. For those unfamiliar, the Olympics are being held at the renowned ski area called Cortina di Ampezzo, which is also a stop on the downhill events at the Skiing World Cup. And if you didn't know that, then you wouldn't know that some of Cortina's slopes are the fastest on Earth, with skiers routinely hitting freeway speeds. One wrong turn of the ski could invite disaster, and amid a spate of fatalities in the sport among young Italian skiers, the engineering firm Dainese has worked for several years to try and get my tongue to work here, to perfect a wearable airbag vest. At the same time, organizers and the International Skiing Federation are redesigning training courses for greater safety, including through measures like installing nets and incorporating larger fall zones. You can't make a sport of speed totally safe, but you can do much more on training. So these airbags, they use sensors, and they're going to make a difference for all of our athletes. So bravo to this company for creating something so brilliant. Well, this was a story I just couldn't pass up. Police bring in a specially trained otter during a search for a missing woman. Otters? Animals are so brilliant. So, police in Pensacola, Florida, recently called in an unusual helper while searching for a missing woman, a specially trained otter named Splash. Good name. According to local reports, officers brought Splash to the scene on Tuesday as they intensified their search near the Mahogany Mill boat ramp after investigators received a tip that a body might be in the water. The woman had not been seen since Friday, raising serious concern. But before Splash ever had to get to work, there was good news. Authorities located the woman safe in a different area on Monday, meaning the otter never needed to enter the water. However, Splash is no ordinary animal. The 2-year-old Asian small-clawed otter has been trained to help detect human remains underwater, something that can be extremely difficult for traditional search teams. Officer Mike Wood of the Pensacola Police Department explained that Splash is trained to dive, release bubbles, and detect scent in a way that allows him to guide dive teams to a specific location, a task that even highly trained dogs cannot perform underwater. Now, I don't know who thought of training that otter, but bravo, bravo. That's absolutely amazing. Oh, I had a bit of a cold last week, which is why I wasn't here, and I'm still working my way through it. Okay, disc golf. So, a disc golf disc with a heartfelt message brings strangers together. Sometimes the simplest things can carry the biggest moments. A group of disc golfers at High Stand Disc Golf Course on the east side of Madison, Wisconsin, recently experienced just that. On hole 6, they found a white Innova Beast disc sitting on top of the pin. What made it stand out wasn't its color or design, it was the message written on the back. This disc is in memory of Kyle Smith. Please toss this hole for him, then leave it at the next hole for the next player. If found on the last hole, please take to a different course. Rest in peace, Kyle. 9/19/84 to 1/25/20. How cool is that? So the disc is in his memory, and though none of the players knew Kyle personally, the message moved them deeply. They each took a turn tossing the disc on the next three holes, honoring Kyle in a small but meaningful way. One of the players shared the moment online, writing, "My friends and I were playing a game of disc golf. We all took a turn tossing the disc on the next three holes. I hope this disc continues on and maybe more people will post a picture here in the future. Rest in peace, Kyle." So, we can do all kinds of things to honor the memory of people and to remember what really matters most in life as we move forward. Okay, well this might be my favorite story today. Again, quite unusual. An old man kept visiting a bookstore every Saturday, and it's a true story shared by Stranger Wisdom as part of a collection of real human stories. It begins with a simple routine: an elderly man walking into a bookstore every Saturday afternoon, buying a single book and asking for it to be gift wrapped. Week after week, year after year, he never missed a visit. At first, it seemed like an ordinary habit, but the reason behind it turned out to be something extraordinary. Here's the story told in the original posts. I work at a bookstore. Old man comes in every Saturday, 3 p.m., buys one book, always pays cash, always asks for a gift wrapped, does this every week, been doing it for 6 years, never misses a Saturday. Finally asked him, "Must be quite a collection you're building." He smiled. "I don't keep them." Confused look on my face. "Every Sunday, I go to the children's hospital. I leave the book at the nurse's station anonymously for whichever kid needs it most that week. Been doing it." Yeah, this will make me emotional. "Been doing it since my grandson was there. Leukemia. He beat it. 5 years cancer free now. But I remember those long days, those scared nights, and I remember the random book someone left, how it gave him something to focus on besides fear. Never found out who left that book, so I decided to be that person for other kids." Oh, that's beautiful. And now our hero of the week. Well, it's not too often that I would, you know, put some wealthy person as the one being the hero of the week, but I think she deserves it. Mackenzie Scott donated 7.1 billion to nonprofits in 2025, a major increase with more to come. Divorcee philanthropist Mackenzie Scott gave 7.1 billion to various nonprofits and charities last year, a recent blog post from the reclusive giver claimed. Since my post last December, I've given 7.166 7,166,000,000 to organizations doing work all over the world. Scott claimed she had donated 2.6 billion in 2024 and 2.1 billion in 2023. The California native has donated 26 billion since 2019, almost the entire fortune she received in her divorce with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. AP News reports that Scott is extremely distant from both the public eye and the eyes of the recipients of her generosity, who are often notified via intermediaries with little or no advance notice of their selection for a donation. The outlet spoke with one such recipient, Kim Mazuka, the CEO of the California-based nonprofit 10,000 Degrees, which works to unlock higher education opportunities to underprivileged communities. "I was just filled with such joy. I was speechless, and I kind of stumbled around with my words." She wrote in her blog post that acts of charity she received as a student in university often spring to mind when she is deciding where to donate money. Whose generosity did I think of every time I made every one of those thousands of gifts I've been able to give? It was the local dentist who offered me free dental work when he saw me securing a broken tooth with a denture glue when I was in college. So she's giving back. Well, everybody, that's the good news for this week, this Friday the 13th. Make it a good one. Just know that wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing in the world, you do make a difference. Your life matters, and the way that you live it impacts all the rest of us. So I invite you to just be you. Find a way to love your authentic self, live your greatest dream, imagine a beautiful life for you and for others, and just know that everything that we put out comes back to us multiplied and overflowing. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I'll see you again next time. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And by the way, this too is a charitable organization. So please do share your donations at ntmedia.org. It will be loved and appreciated, and we welcome all of it with grateful hearts. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.